How much do product managers make?
Although it's a very controversial question, upwards of 50 lakh rupees most of the times. It also varies from different kind of cities. The best salaries that we have seen is in Hyderabad and Bangalore. At the bottom we have seen is Mumbai. Let's say you are a product manager at Amazon working at a very critical product, then they would be okay to go ahead and pay you that kind of money because you are creating that leverage.
What are the AI tools that every product manager should use?
If you are not using these 5 AI tools in 2025, you are definitely losing out. The number one is the popular.
What's the best way to learn product management right now? What are the skills needed to become a product manager? 3 tips to instantly improve your resume. What are the most common PM interview mistakes? How to get a remote product manager job?
It is a high leverage job. It is a high responsibility job. People are not going to give you at least a remote product management job unless they know that you have these skills. So
What kind of questions are asked in product management interviews?
there is a structure that is being.
What is the difference between a product manager and a product owner job?
So if you learn about product manager, you are already ready for many jobs such as project manager, program manager, business analyst, product owner.
How to get a product management job without experience?
Don't limit your learning to just theoretical understanding because people are not going to trust your resume.
What is the roadmap to become an AI product manager?
The few steps that you need to follow, I would give you 5 steps.
How should a business start with an AI adoption in their teams?
If you are a business who doesn't want to be left out in this AI age, then these are the things that I recommend.
Will product manager be relevant in the future?
It's a
Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Accompany Akki. Today's guest is solving one of the biggest career gaps in India, teaching the real playbook of product management. Ankit Shukla, the founder and CEO of HelloPM. He started with a vision to make world-class product management education accessible to everyone. In just a short time, HelloPM has become India's leading product management cohort edtech company, training 2,000 plus learners, helping professionals at land roles at companies like Google, Razorpay, Meesho, Paytm, and many more. Ankit himself comes with a diverse journey from cracking his way into product roles to now building a new age education startup that's shaping the next generation of PMs and AI PMs. In this episode, we deep dive into what it really takes to break into product management without experience, the rise of AI product managers and future of PM jobs, common mistakes candidates make in interviews, and even actionable career playbooks to land your dream PM role. So if you are a student, a working professional, or just curious about the hottest career path in tech, this episode is a goldmine of insights. So let's welcome Ankit Shukla to the podcast. Welcome Ankit Shukla. Welcome to Accompany Akki podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great.
So we have done a podcast earlier as well, and it was fantastic with huge demand from our audiences. We have again come together to do this podcast. I'm very excited about it. I would like to first understand a couple of things which you can guide that what has happened in AI since last we have talked with product management, of course.
I think we talked almost 6 months ago.
Yes.
For us and for most of the people, 6 months is a long period of time. However, if you compare it to AI, there are so many things that have happened. I think when we talked for the last time, DeepSeek was at least for the first time. After that, there have been so many things that have been going on. At that period of time, AI was very experimental. People were not using it in their workflow as a part of the company mandate. But now we are working with so many companies who are now giving us mandates to make sure that yes, their employees are using AI in their day-to-day life. So now AI, I think in the last 6 months have moved from just being an experiment or being a toy to being, let's say, something that companies are actually paying for. And we have seen like enterprise adoption of many of the AI tools, including Cursor, Windsurf, Clean, and so many other tools out there.
That's great. So what are the AI tools that every product manager should use?
If you are not using these 5 AI tools in 2025, you are definitely losing out. The number one is the popular ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT in order to create product requirement documents, use it as a brainstorm buddy, make sure that you are able to create user stories. And then if you are not able to go ahead and talk directly to the stakeholders, you can give it the messages so that it can go ahead and convert them into the right tone. The second popular tool is Notebook LM, which is by Google, and it will make sure that no matter what kind of sources you want to learn from, you can upload any number of PDFs, you can upload n number of YouTube videos, and then you can use it as a research buddy. The third tool is Gamma, because once you have done so much research, you have to make sure that you are able to put everything together in a well presented way. So this is an AI tool which can help you create good documents, website, and most importantly, presentations. The fourth tool I would say is the tool that has become recently popular. It's not a completely AI tool, but I would say it's a workflow tool, which is called as NA10, which will help you automate so many things as a product manager. For example, if you want to make sure that all of your customer insights are coming to one dashboard, then you are able to run GPT over the same so that you are able to summarize the same. Then it can go ahead and do it for you. And then you can get all of these updates over your Slack. And the last tool is my personal favorite, which I would call as Craftful, where you can go ahead and get all of the feedback that you are getting it from your customers, and then it will straight away go ahead and move it to your backlog so that you are able to go ahead and create an automated pipeline of backlog items so that your effort as a product manager has been reduced.
Fantastic level of softwares are coming with for in the product management regarding things, right? So much has changed since product management if we consider it in last 1 year or so. Now there is another term which is called AI product manager. So tell me about it. What is an AI product manager?
Yeah, so I'll say AI product manager can be of three types. The first is the AI enabled product manager, which is all the product managers out there, because every product manager is using AI in some or the other way. We are using Chat GPT to create our product requirement documents, improve our communication. We are using Atlassian intelligence to improve how we search on Jira and these kind of things. So everyone is using, let's say, AI in some or the other way. So everyone is an AI enabled PM. You can definitely be an better enabled AI enabled PM by using better tools in the better way. The second kind of AI PMs are, I would say, PMs who are applied AI PMs. In applied AI PMs, I can divide it into two parts. The first part is the core AI PMs who are working on the sophisticated models or the technical level, which is at the core level. They are designing the models, the infrastructure, the databases, and then they are contributing to the core part of AI. These are the people who are working in core teams at DeepMind, at OpenAI, at companies such as Anthropic, these kind of companies. The second kind of PMs, which are a lot in demand and where a lot of value has been created, is the application level AI PM. These are the PMs who are now leveraging all of these LLMs, who are leveraging all of these models in order to make something helpful for their customers. For example, a PM who is working at Notion AI, a PM who is working as Atlassian Intelligence, a PM who is designing the interface for Cursor AI is someone who is an applied AI PM, because now they are leveraging all the power that AI has in order to serve their customers better and achieve the business outcomes. And it is your choice. Everyone is an AI enabled PM these days, but in the future, we are going to see more application level AI PMs, and also core AI PMs are also going to be very popular. But for core AI PMs, you would need a good understanding of technical ability to make sure that you are able to excel there.
In 2025, what are the skills needed to become a product manager?
Although the fundamental skills of PM are only two, you need to have product sense, and then you need to have stakeholder management skills. This is like the 100% of the skills that you need. Now I can go ahead and break it down into multiple parts. Product sense means how are you able to understand your customers? Then how are you able to understand your business? And then are you able to come up with an idea or a product or a solution that is able to solve the problems? So that is the first part. This requires a lot of thinking. This requires a lot of, let's say, collaboration with people. It also requires a very solid understanding of the domain or understanding of your customers or the business. So this is like a very high leverage part, which is product sense. The second part is stakeholder management, because you can do all the thinking of the world, but if you're not able to collaborate with people in order to go ahead and deliver the product, then it is not going to make sense. So you need to collaborate with people who are your developers and designers, your customers, your partners, your marketing sales people, in order to make sure that you are able to not only come up with an idea, but you are able to go ahead and implement it and make it successful for the company. So I think these are the skills. Some hard skills I can add is just your ability to understand data, your ability to understand the fundamental technical concepts, and then your ability to go ahead and communicate with people. If you're able to do these things, like two big categories, I think you're sorted as a product manager.
Yeah, that is very, very good skills which you have actually mentioned here. And in current era, these skills are very much needed in product management and even other areas as well. What are the must-have technical skills for a product manager right now?
If you have asked me this question maybe a couple of years ago, my answer could have been different. But now it's slightly different answer. As a product manager right now, what you should have, the first skill that you need is, I'm not sure if you can call it a technical skill, is prompt engineering, which is there is so much power that these LLMs can give you.
Right.
But most of the people are not able to utilize because they don't know how to go ahead and talk to them. The first thing that you should acquire is prompt engineering. After that comes things such as your ability to understand the basic of how AI systems work, which is your ability to understand what is the system design of a product, your ability to understand how cloud computing works. Then you should be able to understand how APIs work, because all of these models or all of these tools that you are going to build, they are going to build on some or the other kind of APIs. And then I would say a very core skill for any PM to excel with engineers and for any kind of tech product is your understanding of software development lifecycle. And software development lifecycle is not same for every company. So you have to make sure that you're able to understand the basics of it. Then you are able to get that contextual information as how it happens in your company and how you can make it much better.
You have specifically mentioned this prompt engineering, which is a very, very hot topic right now, because every segment, every department, whether it is HR or whether it is product management, this prompt engineering AI specific is very much hot right now. So give me more understanding about how to become a good prompt engineer.
If you want to learn prompt engineering like a pro in 2025, then you need to follow these 3 steps. The number 1 step is make sure that you understand the value of prompt engineering, because everyone is using LLMs for 2 hour, 3 hour, even more than that in their daily life. So understand prompt engineering is a skill that can add a lot of leverage to the output of your work. So first, you should understand what is the value of it so that it will motivate you to go ahead and pursue that particular skill. Second part is there are few basic fundamentals to learn about creating prompts. Number 1 is whatever output that you want to get from the LLM, you should specify that. Do you want a table? Do you want a blog? Do you want a JSON format? So that it is able to go ahead and do the right work for you. Second is you should use something called as few shot prompting, where you give it some examples of inputs and outputs so that it is not able to hallucinate and it is able to give you the right kind of effective answer that you want. The third part I would say is make sure that you are able to go ahead and do something called as chain prompting. It is going to give you some kind of answer, but then you go ahead and maybe ask it some kind of follow-up questions in order to get the best kind of output from the LLMs. The last part is make sure that you are able to go ahead and use something which is called as a generic prompt improver, which is what you can do is you can just ask this prompt that this is the prompt that I want to give you. This is the outcome that I want. Can you go ahead and suggest me what are the other things that I can go ahead and add in this prompt? And you can also ask it what are the follow-up questions that I should go ahead and ask you. If you follow these simple principles, I think you'll have a better prompt engineering skills. And the third step is there are multiple guides. One guide is from Anthropic and one guide is from Google. You can go ahead and learn about these guides in order to go ahead and become a much effective prompt engineering. But understand, as LLMs are changing, prompt engineering is also going to change. So you should always make sure that you are motivated to follow your curiosity to become a better prompt engineer.
Fascinating. Something like prompt engineering, which has just come in last couple of years itself, maybe more popular right now in a year or so, has become so depth topic itself to discuss about. Nice. So tell me, what is the proof of work and why it is important nowadays?
So imagine that you have learned product management and then you are going to get a job in front of an employer. Now you have learned product management, you have mentioned in the resume, but how do they trust you? Also, you think that you have acquired all these skills, but what is the proof that you have for the world or for yourself that you know product management? So this is where proof of works come. What you need to do is understand there is a particular kind of things that you do as a product manager. You do user research, you do market research, you look at analytics, you are going to create a product requirement documents, you are going to create a wireframes, you are going to have some kind of hypothesis. All of these things that you are going to do, you should pick up some problem statements by yourself. You can take your favorite products, you can take the products that you use, you can pick anything, and then you can craft for yourself some problem statements. Do some kind of assignments, do some kind of case studies, and eventually once you are able to go ahead and do these things, then you put them together in the form of like a nice website or a slide deck or a Notion document, and that becomes your proof of work. And understand, in terms of proof of work, you need multiple, maybe one might not be enough. And as you keep on, let's say, building more and more proof of works, not only your ability to get hired increases, but employers trust you more, and also your ability to get confidence in yourself also increases. Why? Because you have now, rather than just having the skills in your resume, you can show to the world that yes, you know product management. So that is proof of work.
Yeah, so currently, the biggest requirement I see in probably all the workforce in any sector is having a remote job, especially for employees, right? Now, product management is not separate from there, right? So, how to get a remote product manager job?
If you want a remote product manager job in this particular market, then this would be my advice. Step number 0 is make sure that you have a solid understanding of product management, because it is a high leverage job. It is a high responsibility job. People are not going to give you at least a remote product management job unless they know that you have these skills. So first thing is that. Second is, how do you approach the company? So there is a kind of resources that I can suggest you. You can go to ycombinator.com/jobs in order to look out for which are the companies which are hiring for jobs and funded by Y Combinator. You can go to this website called finsmes.in. We will mention the link in the description so that people are able to look at it. You are going to find so many companies which are being funded recently. There you have chances. Similarly, there is a platform called as remoteok.io where you can find so many companies which are hiring for remote roles. It could be possible that they are not promoting the product manager role right now, but they are hiring for remote, let's say, engineers. There might be a chance that you can get a product manager role as well. Third is, build some proof of work, build a strong portfolio, and then reach out to these companies one by one. Do not just rely on the job board, because so many people also want the remote jobs. Everyone is going to apply, and then people are going to hire people with maybe stronger credentials. But if people want to give you a chance, you should give them a reason. So you should go ahead and maybe create a case study for the company, build a portfolio, send it to the company, send it to multiple people in the company, and then follow up at least 3 times in 10 days before calling it a quit. I'm sure if you do it for, let's say, 35 companies, you should be able to get one or the other interview opportunities.
So product management is such a sought after job in the market right now, right? Even because of so many product managers has gone on to become CEOs of different companies, even like Sundar Pichai from Google, right? I want to understand, how much do product managers make?
Okay, so although it's a very controversial question, because not every product manager makes the same, or
Right.
they are not doing the same kind of job. Every company has different kind of things. But recently we have conducted a study of more than about 1,000 product managers where we are able to get a survey of the salaries. So we have seen that in India, if you are a associate level product manager, which is a junior level product manager, then salaries are generally from 12 lakh rupees to 18 lakh rupees per annum.
For APM role?
Yes, for APM role. Then for people who are into PM roles, just 1+ of the APM role. Some companies do not have APM role, they straight away have PM roles. So there the salaries are around 15 to about 28 lakh rupees. The third is people who are, let's say, in the mid part of their careers. Okay, they are senior product managers out there. And then these are the people who are going to make somewhere around 25 lakh rupees to about 45 lakh rupees. That is the range that we have seen. And then people who are at, let's say, VP level, director level, associate director level, then it is upwards of 50 lakh rupees most of the times. However, understand that if you are working for a smaller company, there might be chances that you might not be paid as per the job market out there, but you need to learn, you need to go ahead and prove yourself in order to get to a better company. And the second part is, it also varies from different kind of cities. So the best salaries that we have seen is in Hyderabad and Bangalore, because most of the bigger companies are headquartered there. The second best salary is in, I would say, there also, I think Bangalore and Gurgaon have a tie-up over there. Noida would be on maybe a third or fourth position. And then at the bottom we have seen is Mumbai. It was a, let's say, a weird fact for us, because Mumbai has a large cost of, let's say, living there.
Right.
Then we were able to understand that because there are many traditional fintech companies such as ICICI Bank and many other companies out there where product managers are, let's say, not playing the exact role of a product manager. So they are paid in a range of maybe 12 to 20 lakh rupees, even the product manager role. So that is the range, that the research that we have done, and we are able to see these figures.
It gives me a hint that, more of where the IT companies are there, specifically if we talk about product type of companies, right? Those places where high salary will be there. If companies are not totally into product management, then maybe they will have less requirement, or the kind of pivotal role product manager plays will be a little bit lesser. Am I right?
Right, correct. So what happens is, it depends on a lot of factors, but cost of living is not one of them. What happens is, it depends on the kind of company and the leverage that you are creating for a company.
Value you're talking about.
Yes. If your salary is mostly directly equal to the value that the company draws out of you. So if, let's say, you are a product manager at Amazon working at a very critical product, then they would be okay to go ahead and pay you that kind of money, because you are creating that leverage, right? Although the product life cycle would be very long, but most of the leverage is on the idea, it is on the concept and the problem that you are solving. If that is big enough, if someone is thinking about it as a part of someone's job, then I'm sure people are willing to go ahead and pay you more.
What kind of questions are asked in product management interviews?
In product management interviews across the world, there is a structure that is being followed. And we have been seeing this structure since many years now. And the purpose of all of these questions is to make sure that you are able to understand how are you able to think on the feet, how are you able to do pattern recognition, and how are you able to communicate yourself well, because that is your major job as a product manager. You might be getting some ambiguous situation, you have to solve them. So based on these criterias, the question that people ask are: one, product design question or product sense question. They want to understand how well you are able to understand the customers without jumping to solutions. Second is your ability to understand data, so they can go ahead and give you some kind of questions where you need to define what could be the success metrics of this product. Then there are some guesstimate questions. They can tell you that how would you guesstimate, let's say, the number of people who are living in a particular locality, or how many flights are there that are in the sky right now. So these are way kind of question that is just to check that are you able to have a very analytical mindset in order to solve the biggest
Aptitude
problem.
of that
Correct,
candidate.
right. So how your ability to think on the feet. And then last is the behavioral questions. This is like a very important question, and it increases in importance as you go ahead and maybe become a more senior product manager. So if you're looking for a leadership role or a VP role or a senior product manager role even, there are going to be more behavioral questions, because they want to understand from your behavioral questions, how have you performed, how you are as a leader out there. So how did you settle a dispute between two engineers? How did you prioritize between conflicting requirements? If your CEO says something and your salesman says something and the customer says something, how do you balance that? These are the kind of questions that are also very important for any product manager out there. But overall, I don't think people should focus on the kind of questions. They should focus on three things. One is your ability to understand the situation, like first principle thinking. Second is your ability to do pattern recognition. And then third is your ability to communicate yourself very, very clearly. That's it.
Especially if you talk about experienced role in product management, a company would like to know what projects you have handled, how you have delivered some products in past, right, for different companies which you have worked in. And if you talk about freshers product manager APM kind of role, they will still want some portfolio, they will still want that what you have done, because that's a very sought after role. And there is a big crowd who wants to go into this particular job role, right, from different areas. From they can come from customer service, customer success, they can come from engineering background, they can come even from sales background, right? So the probably demand is low and supply is very high. So you have to create your own niche with the examples, which even if you are a lower entry level role you are applying. What do you think?
As in with anything that is worth pursuing, there is always going to be a bigger supply of candidates than the demand for these kind of candidates.
Right.
But understand that even in let's say these so many people who are applying, I can assure that only 10% are actually eligible for that particular job, or they might have some kind of skills that are required for the job. But now, how would the company know that if you are among these top 10% or 5% or 1%, whatever is the audience? So what you should do is, rather than relying on your resume, my suggestion is that you should go ahead and create a solid proof of work or portfolio.
Right.
So what you should do is, whatever you have learned as a product manager, if you have not learned, what you can do is go to 20 job descriptions for product managers, understand what are the skills that they mentioned, what are the tools, what are the skills, tactics, responsibilities they have mentioned, understand it, then try to learn it, and then rather than only limiting your understanding to theoretical understanding, go ahead and build something. Build a portfolio, do some case studies, talk to people, understand people through user interviews, improve the product, and then go ahead and build something so that people are able to see that this person can do what they are talking about. So that proof of work will add up to your portfolio, and then you can go ahead and get a better job. So taking matters in your own hand is something that you need to do when there is so much competition for a job.
Absolutely right. What is the difference between a product manager and a product owner job?
So there's a lot of confusion between the PO role and the PM role. First of all, there is no ideal definition, because I've seen many product managers who are working as product owner as well, and product owners working as product managers. But I have to tell you at a high level what the difference is. Understand, PO is a role that is responsible for the execution of the product. For example, you have taken the requirements are almost finalized. Now you are going to take these requirements, convert them into user stories, create a backlog, prioritize that backlog, and then work with your engineers, designers in order to get it done, which is more of an execution, or I would say a tactical role. However, as a product manager, you have to also work on understanding and collecting the right kind of requirements, and not only collecting the requirements but discovering the requirements of what the product should be. So a product manager is a strategic role, which is who is going to talk more with the customers. He's going to understand the market research. He's going to make sure that everything is aligned with the business strategy. And then they will go ahead and create a solid product roadmap. Now, in some companies, we have both PM and PO. So product manager is going to do the discovery, and then he's going to hand over the work to a product owner, and then product owner is going to take it forward from there. But in most of the companies, we are seeing that there are only PMs who are doing the end-to-end job of discovering a particular, let's say, creating a roadmap, and then delivering the roadmap through engineers and designers, and then distributing the product with the help of marketing and sales folks. So that is a major difference.
What is the more critical particular? I think product manager is more critical than product owner.
Yeah, so every product manager would say that product manager is more critical, but it depends from a company to company. I've seen some very accomplished product owners, they are doing their job really well. You have to understand the gap. What is the gap in your company? Okay. So there are, let's say, companies such as Oracle, such as SAP, which are headquartered in different countries. In India, what they do is they have someone as a product owner who is a bridge between software development lab in India and the product managers and the customer facing team in the US or in the Germany. So here, product owner, although they are not doing the strategic work, still they are doing a very important job. So I would not say which one is more important, because if company is hired, they might have some kind of, let's say, a need for the same. However, if you are just starting your career, I would say that start by understanding product management role really well, because so far the people that I have talked to and the research that we have done and the job description that we have seen, product owner is a sub part of a product manager. So if you learn about product manager, you are already ready for many jobs such as project manager, program manager, business analyst, product owner, business analyst. So my suggestion is learn about product management, but don't be too focused on getting that particular job. Focus on your skills, and then you'll be able to go ahead and transition into that field. And eventually, if you're a PO or a BO or these kind of things, it becomes a bit easier to go ahead and eventually move into a product manager role.
I'll give you one real live example, and I want to ask that question so that even more people can get help from there. Obviously, we help a lot of candidates get hired through our podcast. And recently, we placed one person through our podcast application itself in a company called Dental Card for product management role. Now, for her, it was given a option of product manager, APM, and product owner role. Right. And it was a confusion for her. She got connected with us that I got hired through your podcast and I want your suggestion. And this question, because you are a product expert itself in that manner, product management cohort guru, right? So you tell with this example what that person should actually go ahead and choose the option if that is given to her.
Yes. So I think it depends upon a lot of context. For example, if they do not have let's say, a product organization in their department, they have a delivery organization where there is a product owner and everything, then if she's a new person who does not have any experience in product management, and then she's the only person in that domain, in that company, and she's been given an APM role, I'm not sure she'll be able to do a better role there, because there is no guidance and you cannot go ahead and expect to learn all about the domain and then operate as a product manager there. If there are seniors in that company who are product managers, product leaders, then definitely she can join as an APM, because she'll have the strategic part plus the technical part as an APM. However, if let's say there is not that case, in case there is no structured product organization, then I generally do not suggest the newbies to be the first product manager in the organization. Because what happens is that maybe the organization does not have a clarity around what the product manager is supposed to do, and then people just go ahead and get confused. So in this case, she can go ahead and maybe take a product owner designation. But understand, it's not that if she's becoming a product owner there, she will never be able to become a product manager or something. Focus on the skills. What does a product owner do, which is different from a product manager? What is a gap out there that you are not able to fulfill as a product owner? Understand that gap. Talk to the leadership of the company. Tell them that you can also go ahead and do that job. For example, right now as a product owner, you are getting most of the execution work. So you go ahead, prove yourself, ask them that I will also go ahead and work in collecting the requirements, understanding the user. And eventually this company can maybe after maybe few months or maybe a year, they can go ahead and be willing to transition you from a PO role to directly a PM role. And then at that point of time, you would have more context about the organization. You have the domain expertise. You understand how the company works, and you'll be able to perform better as a product manager at that period of time. So maybe start from a PO role and then move into a PM role in the same company.
All right. Means product owner is more of an execution level of role.
That is more of a tactical role, and this is more of a strategic role. That is a major difference.
Strategic is product management, product manager or APM, and execution level role is tactical is product owner. Okay. How to get a product management job without experience?
If you want to become a product manager, and if you have no experience as a product manager, then these are the things that you can do. And these are not just the tactics, but these are the exact strategies that many people have applied in order to become product managers, like first time product managers in their life. Step number 0 is you should have a solid understanding of product management. Don't be delusional that if you do not have a job as a product manager, how you are going to learn about it. Don't be in that endless loop. There are so many resources that can help you learn the same, but you should have a understanding of the job. So step number 0 is learn product management. How do you learn? Search for about 20 job descriptions for product managers across various websites. This will help you understand what are the exact skills. Once you have these kind of skills, go ahead and try to acquire them. ChatGPT is your first friend. After that, go ahead and maybe try some kind of courses. There are so many YouTube videos available. I can also go ahead and share with you a 30-day free playlist through which you can go ahead and become a good skilled product manager. That is the first part you have to learn. The second part is don't limit your learning to just theoretical understanding, because people are not going to trust your resume. You have to build something. Go ahead and create a portfolio. Include your case studies, build some products. There are so many AI tools these days, such as Lovable, V0, Versal, ChatGPT, which can help you go ahead and build something rather than just be on the paper. So go ahead and build something that will show your hustle, that will show your critical product mindset. That is the second part. And then the third part is reach out to the company in a very strategic way. So go ahead, create a list of companies where you think you will be a better hire. Why would you be a better hire? Some reasons are you are interested in that domain, you have already gone ahead and maybe worked in that domain in the past, or you are already working in that particular company. So make a case, choose a list of companies. There should be 50, 60 companies where you are approaching it. And then what you should do is go ahead, build something for these companies one by one. Create a case study, write something about them. Why do you think, let's say if you were a product manager at that company, what would you do in the first 6 months? Articulate it very well, and then send it to the companies one by one. You should send to 2 3 people in the company and make sure that you are doing the follow-up like for 3 times in 10 days. And I'm sure if you do it for, let's say, 30 40 or more companies, you will be able to get a lot of interview opportunities, because your portfolio, your work will tell people that this person knows product management, which a lot of people are not doing these days. So you have to deserve what you desire in order to go ahead and maybe excel as a product manager.
That's a very, very valuable insight you have given on this. What are the documents that every product manager needs to know about?
As a product manager, your number one job is to bring clarity to the table. By clarity, I mean you should be able to make the business team understand what are the features that you should develop in order to achieve the business goals. You should be able to help your designers and developers understand what is it that you want to develop. And then everyone in the team should have a ultimate clarity about what is it going to be the roadmap. Now, in order to bring this clarity, you need a lot of documents. The number one and the most important document is a product roadmap. Maybe as a product manager, you might not have to create a roadmap, but your seniors will do. So you should always know what goes in creating a product roadmap. The second part is you should create a product requirement document. That is the essential document, I would say, like a must have or essential document that every product manager should be creating. That is a product requirement document. The third kind of document I would say is going to be a GTM document or a go-to-market strategy document. This might not be the whole sole responsibility of a product manager, but you as a product manager need to make sure that you are coordinating with the sales and marketing team and maybe the growth team in order to build this really well, because you have built the product, you know about the user needs and demands and business outcomes. So you should also be able to go ahead and contribute to this document. And then I would say the last document would be a press release document, where it is not supposed for the outer audience, but it should be written in a way that if you were to promote this product to the audience, how would you communicate about this product? And generally, although it says PR FAQs, it should be done once the product is made. But if you want to become a great product manager, create this product even before you have written one line of code for the product. That makes sure that you have complete clarity about what is the customer value it is going to bring, so that you are able to do a better job at building the product. Get it reviewed by everyone before you go ahead and commit any resources to the product. This philosophy is also called as working backwards, which has been popularized at Amazon.
What is the roadmap to become an AI product manager?
If you want to become an AI product manager, these are the few steps that you need to follow. I would give you 5 steps. The number one step is have some basic understanding of how different components of an AI product works. Major component is LLM. Second component is fine tuning of LLM. Then there is post training. Then making sure that you are able to understand prompt engineering and RAG. This is like the basic understanding of AI components. The second part is go ahead and try to understand the use cases of the current top products. So make a list of 20 AI tools that you are using these days. 5 of them could be enterprise, 15 could be B2C because you have more data around B2C that is exposed in the market. Reverse engineer them. How they are working, what is the step out there, okay? You can use this simple framework that what is the purpose of the product, which is what is the value for the customer and what is the value for the business. What is going to be the practicality of the product, which is how this product is practical. Like what is the technology that empowers the same? What is the feasibility? Is it even practical for the business to make? And then the third part is the profit part, which is what is the business sense around going ahead and making this product? Like, will it become profitable? If not now, in the long run, how would you go ahead and make the product so that it is able to generate profits for the company in terms of distribution or anything out there? If you apply this 3P framework, purpose, practicality, and profit, you should be able to reverse engineer a lot of product. That is a lot of knowledge. The third step is go ahead and try to understand the use cases of AI. What is it that is possible with AI? For example, it can generate text, it can generate code, it can generate images. What are the different kind of permutation and combination that you can pick in order to go ahead and build any kind of AI products? The fourth part is understand different kind of stakeholders that you need to work with as an AI product manager, which is make sure that you are able to understand how to work with some additional stakeholders such as machine learning engineers, data scientists. So I think if you have a common basic understanding of how to understand Python, how to understand various, let's say, machine learning concepts, I think that can go ahead and also help you out. But this part is optional. And the fifth and the ultimate part is build a strong portfolio. There are so many tools these days which can enable you to go ahead and realize any of the ideas that are out there. So in order to become an AI product manager, you need to use AI products, not just, let's say, at a hobby level, but you should try to build something. And if you try to build something, you reach out to the companies with the tools that you have built. I'm sure people are going to go ahead and give you a chance, and then keep on iterating, keep on, let's say, repeating the step number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order to make yourself better at it. But you should always have a portfolio as an AI product manager.
How should a business start with a AI adoption in their teams?
If you are a business who doesn't want to be left out in this AI age, then these are the things that I recommend. The number one is your AI adoption strategy should come from top down, which is if you think that your employees are going to come and tell you that these are the kind of AI tools that we should buy and all, understand generally people are afraid. Why? Because they think that if they are going to show that they are using AI to do their job, that might not put them in the good light. So you have to make it clear to them that yes, we are welcoming these AI adoption things. So you should go ahead and maybe try to go ahead and get some adoption out there. So it should come from top down. Second part is go ahead and create an AI champions team, which is this can be like a platform team where you are going to pick few people who are very enthusiastic about AI. There should be few leaders so that things actually get executed. And eventually you should make sure that you are able to go ahead and get this team and give them all the tools and requirements that are important for them to go ahead and excel in AI. And then the third part is go ahead, ask this team to understand the current workflows of people and how AI can play an important role. So that is a one use case. Second use case is look at what are the problems that your customers face. Not only the problem that your product solve, but maybe some other problem that they face in their life, so that you have some more use cases that you can go ahead and put in your product, or maybe you can create better products out there. If you're able to follow these three strategies, like a top-down approach of adopting AI, second is an AI platform team, like an AI champions in the company, and then understanding all the use cases and then helping these teams in order to implement the use cases, then maybe you should be able to go ahead and build a company which is more suitable to go ahead and get excelled in this AI world.
How to ask better questions during a user interview as a product manager?
If you want to ask much better questions and get much better insights through your user interviews, then you need to make sure that you are asking the questions in the best possible way. And the best possible ways are written in a book called as Mom's Test. So this is like a very popular book, very short book. Everyone should go ahead and read it. In this book, the author mentions three important things. The one thing is that you should go ahead and talk about the life of the user rather than your idea. Because if you go ahead and talk about the idea, people are generally appreciative and they are going to tell you, like, they are going to become a yes man and they will not give you the right kind of feedback. So first is understand, the interview is to understand the problems, not to just validate the solution. At least the first part of the interview. Second part is talk about the past, which is talk about the life of the user rather than their opinions of the future. So let's say rather than asking that, do you go ahead and care about your health? Are you going to invest in your health? You should ask about what was the last time then you have gone to gym? or what have you eaten in the breakfast in the morning. So you'll understand how they are, let's say, focused on about their, let's say, health. And the third thing is, make sure that you do not talk about the idea until the end. In the end, you can ask a question that, let's say, if you have a magic wand and if you have to go ahead and solve this particular problem out there, how would you go ahead and do this? So it will give you some inspiration about the idea, but generally it's not a good idea to go ahead and maybe talk about your own idea just in the front of the conversation. So if you follow these three principles, then you'll be able to ask better questions. Now, this method is called as mom's test, because generally if you ask your mom about a question about maybe a critical thing, most of the time our moms do not want to be critical and they are going to give you some sugar coated feedback. So that is what you need to avoid. So if you are going to ask this question to someone who loves you the most about your idea, if you ask these kind of questions, then most probably, even if they are the most nicest person in the world, they are even going to give you the right kind of practical insights.
Right. It means like probably you should not ask a leading question, or probably where biases can come.
Yes.
You have to exactly find out with the action what they do rather than what they say, because they will say and sugarcoat, and because okay, I go to gym, I am health conscious, but they may be eating all
Correct,
the
correct,
junk
correct.
foods and
So
they don't
don't
care.
look for opinions, look for the facts.
Hmm.
And then it is on the intelligence of a product manager to understand what kind of question to be asked and fit in what kind of context. After 5-10 interviews, you start creating that patterns.
3 tips to instantly improve your resume.
If you are someone who is submitting your resume to a lot of places, but still it is not getting shortlisted, then there are 3 optimizations that you can do. Number one is, make sure that you mention your outcomes rather than the responsibilities. So many people say that I have done this, I have managed these many people, but that is not a, let's say, an outcome. That's a responsibility. I don't know how you have performed on the job. So if you can mention outcomes, which is revenue acquired, number of users acquired, what is the retention number that you are able to bring, any metric that you have followed, you can go ahead and put it out there so that people understand you are focused on the outcome. The second part is, make your resume concise. I have seen people with 3-4 years of experience, 4 pages of resume. That does not work. As a product manager, you are known for your prioritization skills, and resume is the first thing that showcases your prioritization skills. So make sure that most of the time the resume is 1 page is most of the times enough. And third thing is, make sure that you are able to customize your resume as per the job description. So you can use the summary part or some parts in your pointers in order to make sure that you are able to customize as per the JD. And also you can involve some of the skills that they have mentioned in the job description. For example, for someone might have written data driven abilities, someone writes it in a similar kind of but other way, but make sure that if you have these kind of keywords ready in the job description, you are able to put them in your resume if you have done them in the past. So if you just do these 3 things, I'm sure you'll be able to have a better chances of getting shortlisted through your resume.
Even I suggest a lot of candidates to optimize their resume. There are a lot of times there are 2 pages, 3 pages. Especially now 2 pages are very common. But I always suggest that if you are not more than 8 years of experience, you don't need 2-page resume. 1 page should be fine enough. And that the prioritization which you talked about, that plays an important role. How you are providing the outcomes of every project you have led or worked upon, how you have worked with the companies. You don't need much of space to be taken that it will go to 2 pages, right? So I think for everyone out there, if you are less than 8 years of experience, you should always have 1 page and prioritize things with what you want to display to the potential employers.
Yes, correct. So also at IAMS, this term is called, which is called as kill your darlings, where you are told to remove as many things as possible from your resume. And we have seen people that if they have won a particular competition in the college, or they were, let's say, done some kind of extracurricular activities, or maybe they have done something very substantial, we ask them to go ahead and question it, that is it important for the job that I'm applying? If it is not important, you don't have to go ahead and mention it, or at least mention it in a very concise way. Another tip is, I would say, please go with the ready-made existing popular templates. You have to be innovative, you have to be someone who thinks out of the box, but resume is not a place to showcase your out of the box thinking skills, right? Because follow up with a standard format. You can get all the standard formats from the internet. because these resumes are going to go through an ATS. HR is only going to give 15, 20, 30 seconds to a resume. They should be able to get scanned easily. So maybe you do not need an image on your resume. You do not need, let's say, a long resume. You do not need so many colors. Just black and white resume is good enough most of the times.
Absolutely. So gone are those days where graphical images were needed. In ATS, it will not be able to parse and understand what you have written. So you have to make it plain black and white with written text and exactly showcasing what are the skills which are popular for your job domain, which you have worked upon, and you can showcase it properly so that it can picked up as keywords as well.
Correct, correct. And if you want to be more innovative, I think if you want to showcase your work, have a link to your portfolio or a
Yes.
website in the resume so that people can go ahead and follow
Look at
that.
it.
Yes. But if you are in a creative field, I would say graphic design and all, then maybe you can.
Then
not
maybe
follow
you
this advice,
can
that's okay.
showcase.
But for serious jobs, I think this is something that you need to.
I think I will even recommend them as well to put links of whatever work they have done Behance or whatever places where they have put those repositories and details about their project, but should not glamorize the resume per se, because it's not going to help you when it comes to the hiring manager. And when you're interviewing, then probably that person can look at your projects, click on it, and have a discussion about it. But showcasing it on basically your resume of your skills through your art will not work.
Exactly.
All right, what are the most common PM interview mistakes people do?
If you are rejected from a product management interview recently, then these could be one of the reasons. Number one is you were unprepared. You did not go ahead and research well about the company in order to answer the questions well. Second could be you jumped too soon to the solutions. Because in product management, they are looking at your ability to understand the problems, your ability to set the context, understand the outcome that you'll achieve by solving this problem rather than focusing on the solution. And the third reason could be you are not able to communicate yourself well. So you lack the structure in which you need to communicate. If you go ahead and reflect upon these three mistakes, I'm sure you are going to do better in your next interview as a product manager.
Please tell me, will product manager be relevant in the future?
If I say that product managers would be relevant in future, then I am vastly underestimating the potential of AGI. So I do not think about whether product manager are going to be relevant or not. But I'll rather look at the skills that a product manager bring to the table. So as a product manager, you are bringing two fundamental skills. One is your ability to understand the customer problems and then create solutions for the same. Your ability to bring the business forward. As long as these skills are important, whether you are called as a product manager or a business head unit or an entrepreneur, you are going to stay relevant. So my answer would be maybe product manager, I'm not sure, but whatever the skills that the product manager needs to know and the outcome that you are, let's say, pushing for right now, that will always remain relevant. So if you are able to go ahead and upskill, maybe we'll not need as many product managers 10 year, 20 year down the line, because if AGI goes ahead and takes over, I'm not sure about it. But if you just focus on these skills, I don't think you need to be afraid about it too much. Just provide value and then people would be able to put, let's say, food on your table.
All right. What's the best way to learn product management right now?
The best way to learn anything is by practice. I believe that all the learning is course correction. You go ahead and first identify, answer for yourself, why do you want to become a product manager? Why do you want to get into this field? What does fascinates you? Is it only that you hate your current job? That is not a good reason. Is it only that you want to make a good amount of money? That's a good reason, but should not be your number one reason. A good reason could be you want to go ahead and maybe build something impactful. You want to build something of your own. You want to go ahead and solve problems. You want to scale the horizon of your impact. These are the good reasons out there. So first thing should be very clear. Your why should be very clear. Then comes the tactic part. So first thing is go ahead, look at the 20-30 job description for product managers, understand the skills well, acquire the skills, then go ahead and pick up a project. Pick up your favorite company. Ask yourself, if I were the product manager at this company, what would I do in the first 6 months? Then go ahead and build that. It should take you maybe a week or two with so many AI tools out there in order to do something. Get it reviewed by your peers, some product manager that you can find on LinkedIn. And I'm sure once you keep on building these kind of projects, you'll be much far ahead of so many people who are just trying to learn product management theoretically. So learning by doing is the best possible way to learn not only product management, but almost everything, given that you have a good foundation.
Absolutely. How to get a great idea as a PM?
In order to get great ideas, you need to have enough ideas, which means Most of the people, if you see, let's say if you take on any inventor of the world, take any successful entrepreneur in the world, most probably it was not their first idea. It could be their first public idea, but they might have gone ahead and done a lot of research, or maybe they have done a lot of things. Maybe they have gone ahead and practiced a lot of idea, came up with a lot of idea before going ahead and maybe for pursuing that particular idea. So in order to get great ideas, you need to get enough ideas. I'll give you a common analogy of imagining that you have a pipe which has been shut for many years or maybe many days. And then when you go ahead and open the tap of that pipe, once you start it after so many days, you are going to find that a lot of dirt is going to come from that pipe. Now that dirt is coming because that pipe was not open for a lot of days. And there are many people who will just open that pipe. They will just wait for some moments, only the dirty water is coming. They will think that no, it does not have good water, and then they are going to leave. And maybe they would have stopped for 5, 7, 10 minutes. It would have given them, let's say, the right kind of, let's say, the clean water. This also happens when we go ahead and think about ideas. What we do is we do not have the innate capability of thinking critically. We do not spend enough time with the problems. We do not go ahead and give us enough time. We do not meditate on the ideas. We do not go ahead and think more about, let's say, how we can come up with more ideas. So a general principle is try to come up with as many ideas as possible. Most of the ideas are trash, but initial ideas are mostly always trash. Go ahead and go into the details, spend more time with the problem, talk to more people. And I would also say that have a meditative ability to go ahead and come up with more ideas. Sit on the table, write as many ideas as possible. Just give yourself a goal that I should have maybe 40, 45 solutions or maybe 50 solutions for this particular problem. Initial 5 would be very quick. 10 you will do, and after then it becomes difficult for you. You just have to sustain that anxiety. You have to sustain that uncomfortableness. If you go ahead and do that, I'm sure you'll be able to understand how good ideas come. And then once you do this common exercise of coming up with ideas, then you'll start to explore world in a different way. You'll look at different kind of sources, you'll get inspiration from the nature, you'll read different kind of books, and then you are going to get guided. And also other part is, if you are having, let's say, a lot of ideas, make sure that you just don't become an idea person. You have to go ahead and implement them as well.
Right.
There has to be a good combination of not getting the ideas, but also trying to make sure that what is your framework to implement the idea, validate the idea as soon as possible.
Interesting point you have suggested, because I read a book which was Thinking Fast and Slow. It exactly covered that point itself when I read it. Basically, we have two ways of thinking, but most of the people generally explore thinking fast itself, one side of a brain which quickly wants to come up to a conclusion, right? And that is always the something which, if you are quickly thinking and implementing or giving that answer, it most of the time it is not deep, right? When you go deep, when you think slow, when you question multiple times, when you probably peel the onion and go inside deeper and deeper, then you actually get a really right idea or insights which people should strive for. So generally people come to conclusion very quickly by just looking at it, because their conscious mind, subconscious mind, whatever it has been trained to do, it will just quickly give you the results.
Yes, and that is an irony. Why? Because where we should think slower, we are thinking faster. And in many places, for example, there are many things that you cannot control. Like how is it going to be the weather tomorrow, how your employees are going to behave to you, how your colleagues are going to behave to you, how your spouse is going to behave to you, how things are going to happen in the future. These are the things you cannot generally go ahead and control, but people go ahead and do overthinking on these kind of topics. So my personal principle is that be indifferent to the things that you cannot go ahead and control.
Absolutely. Control the controllables. If you cannot control it, better not to stress about it, better not to think much about it, like that. How to improve your communication skills as PM?
If you are someone who is struggling with your communication abilities as a product manager, then you can do these three things. First is content, second is clarity, and third is confidence. First is, for content, you need to make sure that your vocabulary is up to the mark. Most of the people are not able to speak because they are not aware about enough number of words, and because they think in a different language and they are trying to communicate in a different language. So your vocabulary should improve. A simple suggestion is go ahead and read this book called Word Power Made Easy. It is going to improve your vocabulary. The second part is clarity. You are not able to speak correctly, or you are not able to go ahead and write correctly because the idea is not clear in your own mind. So my suggestion is, before you go ahead and try to communicate anything, like as a matter of, let's say, practicing, you can go ahead and try to write it down on a piece of paper. When you are writing it on a piece of paper, now it is not about, let's say, confidence, or you're not able to articulate it. If you are failing to write it, I'm sure you are failing to go ahead and communicate it as well. So go ahead, think through your writing. So that is the second step in order to get clarity. Practice more writing. The third part is confidence. Most of the people are not able to talk because they are not confident. That can come from so many ways. Can come from the past. It is coming from because you have not confident in the idea. It can come because you are not confident in the kind of people that are surrounding you. So for that, there are multiple hacks out there, but I'll give you some practice strategies. Number one is, you can go ahead and make this a practice of, take this 30-day challenge, that I'm going to go ahead, open the selfie camera, I'm going to record myself for 5 minutes talking about any random topic. If you do this for 30 days, after every 5 days, you need to revise. Like, you need to look at all the recordings. You can go ahead and delete the recordings as you want to, but make sure that you are able to look at them once, and then you are able to understand how you are improving every day. If you do this for 30 days, you are going to practice really, really well. That anxiety of facing the camera and then talking to people is going to reduce. The second part is, there is something called as Toastmasters International, which is a group of people, like an organization, central organization, which can go ahead and give you a stage to talk and learn from the experts. Everyone should go ahead and maybe join these kind of organizations, like these kind of local chapters of Toastmasters, which will help you go ahead and expose yourself. The third thing that I would recommend is, again, like the second step, which is practice more and more writing. Once you write, you are able to think better. And communication is nothing but your ability to articulate yourself more clearly. So if you work on these three things, content, clarity, and confidence, you will be able to get much better at communication as a product manager.
Right, absolutely. Basically, if you talk about confidence, it comes with familiarity. So, how much you are familiar with your surrounding, with the content which you are discussing, right? How much in depth you have gone. So, this all gives you much more confidence. If you're not familiar with the people you're talking to in a good way, if you're not familiar with the topic which you're discussing, all these things will probably make you more nervous, and because of which your communication will skill will definitely lack there. So absolutely right. Now tell me, how do you vibe coding as a PM?
Yes, so vibe coding is a very new term where you go ahead and create all end-to-end softwares or whatever you want to build uh, with the help of just natural language prompts. So there are tools such as Lovable, V0, even ChatGPT, Claude, where you just give it some kind of prompts, and then it is going to go ahead and build web pages, websites, software, apps for you. Vibe coding does not need any kind of tutorial, because if you have a tutorial for vibe coding, it defies the purpose of vibe coding, that you are going it and doing it in the natural language. But there are some best practices that people can follow, which is, first, whatever you're trying to build, have an absolute clarity about the same. Like, start, rather than using a small prompt, go ahead and start with like a detailed product requirement document. That requirement document can be generated from, let's say, a prompt itself, but there has to be a product requirement document that you might have written with the help of AI, so that you have a better clarity. Second is, most of the people struggle in deploying the vibe coding apps because they cannot go ahead and edit things precisely, because you are only depending on the prompt. So my suggestion is that if you are really serious about learning and building your own product, you should move one step beyond from vibe coding and learn these two things, which is GitHub. How do you export all of these, let's say, lovable V0 bold projects from the project to the GitHub? And the GitHub, you can go ahead and export with a new tool, with one more tool, which is Cursor. So you can import all of these things into Cursor, and then you should be able to do precise editing. Cursor also has like a very AI based interface like chat. You can go ahead and talk to it and it will be able to do the work. So you have more control. So if you want to go ahead and learn vibe coding, start with an idea, build it into a PRD, feed it to Lovable or V0 or something. It will create a first good version for you. Make as many edits that you can with the natural language. And once you are hitting, let's say, a wall, go ahead, export it to GitHub, connect with the GitHub, and then use Cursor in order to make some minute changes. And then you can again post it back to Lovable or at these projects in order to deploy it. One more suggestion, that if you are vibe coding anything, please don't limit it to code or just building the product. Get some distribution, get your friends to use it, get your family to use it, get your network to use it, so that you are able to go ahead and maybe get some feedback, and then you are able to iterate.
You have talked about some tools right now. So, what are the tools every product manager should know?
As a part of the product management process, there are so many tools that can make you more productive as a product manager and help you achieve better outcomes. The number one tool is Figma. which you will use in order to communicate your thoughts in the form of designs or wireframes. The second tools are analytics tools, because whatever you do as a product manager, you have to measure the progress. So what you will do is you will go ahead, learn about tools such as Mixpanel, Google Analytics, do a bit of SQL in order to go ahead and look at analytics. The third kind of tool is project management tool, where you can use Jira or Asana in order to make sure that you are able to go ahead and measure the progress of your team and how your team has been going forward. Then we have these so many AI tools which can work as your sidekick. Let's say you can use Gamma in order to create documents such as PPTs. You can go ahead and use ChatGPT in order to create PRDs and multiple user stories. You can go ahead and use N8N in order to build your own agents in order to, let's say, automate most of your work as a product manager. So these are few tools that I suggest to every product manager to use.
Which companies do you admire most for their product management principles?
So, which companies do I admire the most for their product management principles? I would say every company whose products I have used, people are using these days, or any product that has been there in front of us. I think these companies need admiration because they have been able to build something that is now changing lives of so many people. But if I have to choose one particular company, maybe I would choose Amazon. Not only because of the quality of products that they are building, but the kind of principles that they have contributed to the product management community. One of their major principles is the working backwards principle, which is that before any product manager or product leader in Amazon starts working on any product or they get the budget of the product, they need to make sure that they are able to create a document called as PR FAQs, where they will answer what will this product do for the customers, why it is needed, and they are going to answer all the frequently asked questions that their team members, external partners, customers can ask. What it does, it gives a lot of clarity. It is almost impossible to have this document and then not have clarity about what you want to do. And as a product manager, you need to bring clarity not only for your team, but also for yourself. We have seen a lot of time people are just jumping to solution. They don't have a clarity around the problem and then they waste the resources. So even if you are, let's say, in the modern age where it is very easy to build any kind of product, you should still start with a PR FAQ document. You can call it a PRD before you go ahead and start vibe coding your product.
How do I create my portfolio as a product manager?
Your product portfolio is your proof of work as a product manager that you have the skills that are required to perform in a product management job. So what are the things that you can include? Number one is any case studies that you might have done while learning product management. Second, if you can go ahead and include your past work that you have done as a PM or as someone who's adjacent to a PM. Third, you can go ahead and include improvements in your favorite products. So you can pick products that you use daily and then you can go ahead and put your product manager hat in order to suggest some improvements of this product. They should be definitely be, let's say, attached to a particular problem that you are facing. And the last part is, which is the most important and which is the most effective part, is you can also build some side projects. Okay. Look at things around you, look at the problem that you are facing, then use these kind of tools such as these AI tools in order to build something. If you go ahead and build something, that is, let's say, the absolute test of whether you can go ahead and operate as a product manager or not, given that it is backed by a real need. Okay. So if you are able to implement these 4 things in your portfolio, I'm sure you'll be able to have a much compelling case when you are applying to any kind of product management jobs.
Well, it was a very, very interesting chat with you in this podcast session. I think a lot of value can be unlocked for our product management folks in the industry with this podcast. I really thank you for all the insights you have shared here and thank you for coming.
Thanks a lot for having me. I enjoyed the conversation.